India, the next global sports manufacturing hub. For the session, may I request and invite on stage Mr. Abhishek Binaykia, who is the session chair, and he's partner, leader sports advisory and technology advisory, Grand Thornton, Bharat LLP. Joining him on stage, we have our distinguished set of panel. May I invite on stage Mr. Neeraj Jain, Managing Director, Cosco, Mr. Rajesh Kharabanda, Managing Director, Freewill Sports, Nivia, Mr. Shiv Prakash Singh, Managing Director, Shiv Naresh Sports, Mr. Rakesh Kohli, Chairman, STAG International. I request everybody to kindly welcome and give a big round of applause to our distinguished panel and the moderator here. Over to you, Mr. Binaykia. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining what I believe today is a very pertinent topic. India is the next global sports manufacturing hub. India has a rich history of craftsmanship, skilled labor and a lot of investments coming in infrastructure as well. So there's a lot of opportunities that are available for India to take that next step when it comes to being a leader in global sports manufacturing. Obviously, challenges come along with it, and we have an esteemed panel of industry leaders today that will walk us through some of these opportunities and challenges. So welcome, everyone. Neeraj, I will start with you. So skilled manpower today is a key requirement to compete with global brands. So what is needed from India's perspective to skill our existing workforce?
Hello. Hello, everyone. I think the sports industry is a labor-intensive industry, and when I talk of competitive advantage, I really don't think that it's cheap labor. I think the countries are catching up with a lot of technology, and with time we need to maybe reskill or upskill our workforce here. For example, from a stitched ball, we are moving to a man-made ball. From a hockey stick, from a wooden craftsman angle, we're moving into some polymer-based hockey stick. So we have a lot of change going on, and there's a desire that we match that, and we can produce those more efficiently. And I think for that we need to upscale the whole ecosystem of workforce here. Second thing is that we also want to have a system wherein it's a smaller industry. When we look at, compare it with others in terms of size. So we need to sort of multi-skill them. Maybe they could do one job, and if they say example know how to do a particular job, they'll be relevant for some other job in making, say, if they're stitching, then they could do some machine stitching also, they could do some other stitching related jobs as well. So this is important, and one and the skill ministry is also incorporated a body called the SPEFL, Sector Skill Council. It takes care of the skilling aspect of this industry, and wherein they would be provided with some suitable chances and qualification packs on which they can work on, train on, and then get obviously better certificates and better pay as they go along in their career. So I think skilling wise, definitely we need to have that requirement going.
That's a very valid point. And how long do you think we are behind the curve today when we compare ourselves with some of these global brands?
I think we are very much matching in terms of our skilling needs, we need to say. But yes, if you look at the entire sports ecosystem, yes, there is a lot of work to do, a lot of job roles that we need to fulfill. We need to have right from the sports sciences to the e-sports and towards the manufacturing and other parts, because we're taking the manufacturing here. So we said we are doing just a set of things right now, but we need to probably look at other sports, make other goods, and try to take on and fill in the gaps wherever required.
Shivji, today, what are the international best practices that are being emulated locally? And from a standards and quality perspective, what is the gap that we need to plug?
Actually, I'm from the sports garments industry. So we are already at par with the manufacturing of the sports garments compared to any international, any country, we can say. Mainly the China, Bangladesh, India, some of the countries, we are having a skilled manpower for stitching the garments. Plant machineries are available. So all the industries already equipped with the international standards. So most of the brands are making their garments in India nowadays. So there is no gap behind the manufacturing of the quality products for the sports garments I'm concerned.
Shobhit, you've been kind enough to join us today. So from a government perspective, where do you think the government can support the local sports manufacturing industry a little bit more? What areas do you believe there can be value added from a government policy perspective?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Actually, I should have been on the other side, but they said be here. So what I share is, actually when you said government, though, I'm not sharing sports ministry perspective. I'm apparently from revenue services, from the indirect tax side. I know there are a host of issues, but I worked in commerce, I worked in FSSAI. So from a government perspective, first thing, it's very clear. And this is not pertaining to sports industry. It is with every industry. Government is an enabler. So government's role is to enable things to happen, but usko karne ka kaam private sector ka hai. I think the philosophy has changed from the older days where the government used to do it itself. So that is very clear. And I'm happy to be here hearing from last half an hour, the other side, I would say the soft component, the scaling side to hardcore manufacturing side today. Secondly, of course, from that enabler role, from the sports industry perspective, what I see is, and that is my nascent observation, sports is not a ecosystem which can differentiate itself from others. It lies overhead of other industries, like he said, garment industry. So garment industry is itself an industry, but there's a niche segment for it which specializes for sports. अब बहुत layman example दूंगा तो gaming laptop is not separate. It is from the IT industry or hardware industry. It has to come through that. So it has to leverage already on the strengths. The first thing I always believe is we will have to create strengths across and build that consciousness that sports will bring good value addition to your line also. That is one part. I'm not talking hardcore about manufacturing a bat or a ball only. So that is one part of the ecosystem. Secondly, as I see an aspirational room today, as we are sitting, we really need to move across. And what I heard from the last panelist is get this message across that sports, if not has arrived, it's going to arriving soon. And if you miss the bus, you will not be on it. Ye eagerness, whether by entrepreneurship or the organized industry, needs to go through. So whatever role that the government can do will definitely do in tying up the various segments. And as I said, we will try and enable it through. And that is the whole lot focus of it. One aspect I always believe, one more thing, which I think there was a gentleman from PwC and aapka feel hai. Whenever we see, we will also have to see that sports industry as such may initially, when I hear these stories and as an observer, was more unorganized. Now it is becoming organized. We actually have to push it up, both because it is becoming very stringent, standard oriented thing. For that part again the government comes in, because industry will have to push standards, which can, of course, become recognized through the formal process. Then enable adoption of those standards, क्योंकि कागज में रह के कोई फायदा नहीं है, field में आने. And the industry needs to consolidate to move away from the availability of a low standard product only for the cost factor, and which is the norm, I think, on the public street right now. So that is the segment that we need to change, and the more we organize, more standardized we are, more opportunities will come in, and that will come only when that message goes across both from the supply side and the demand side. Yes, this industry is going to boom up. I think my last interaction with this subject matter was with exports. We see uska focus बहुत limited है. Very few towns are renowned to be manufacturing for sports. मेरे को तो लगता है कि होना भी नहीं चाहिए कोई town renowned. It should be so spread out that we don't say कि this is my hub. मेरठ hub नहीं है, Hindustan hub है. And second focus I would love the industry to change is, don't only manufacture for India. Now, the world has arrived. Try and get the world market for us. Uske liye the enablers will need to actually, and that for the consultants, for the industry doyens, for the lead people to, because this information gap still remains. Okay, where is the market for what? Sports is such a wide thing. It has so many small arenas that there could be a niche market for many players who are already having the capacity to deliver, but they don't know and are not connected. So if there are platforms which can make them connect to these opportunities, I think it will work wonders.
Absolutely. Rajesh ji, so Nivia has been very successful in exporting sporting goods globally. What are some of the strategies you've deployed in order to achieve that level of success from an export perspective?
See, my observation on this subject is that powerful brands in sports have emerged from powerhouses, the countries which were powerhouse of sports. Adidas, Reebok, Adidas and Puma from Germany, Spalding or Wilson, or other from US, and Yonex, Mikasa, Mizuno, Essex from Japan. So how it happens is that when there is a huge consumption locally, or historically it happened so, there's a huge consumption locally, the manufacturer there who became a big brand start innovating and looking for a market beyond their shores. So this is how it has emerged. So if we observe Indian market also, if we look at cricket, because there's a huge consumption of cricket, so the major brands world over come from here. Or our manufacturing here is limited to the products which are unfortunately low-tech and skill-based. World has moved away from them. So we are manufacturing only those products which are low-tech and skill-based. So this mindset has to change. Now coming back to your question, this question, like साहब ने अभी बोला था कि हमें अपनी सोच बदलनी पड़ेगी. आज स्पोर्ट्स मैट्स जो होती हैं वो स्पोर्ट्स मैट्स स्पोर्ट्स मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं बनाता, वो पैकेजिंग मटेरियल वाला भी बनाता है. जो फैब्रिक्स हैं वो परफॉर्मेंस फैब्रिक्स बनाते हैं, ना कि नॉर्मल फैब्रिक वाले. और आज की तारीख में रैकेट वो बना रहा है जो टेक्निकल फैब्रिक बना रहा है. अरविंद मिल हैज़ कम इनटू making sports equipment. So we have to think our change. I think the change would probably not come from the people sitting here. It would come from outside. And if and when the industry grows here, the sports grows in India, the brands who are prominent would look offshore and try to be relevant in the smaller markets to begin with. Because today sports is sponsorship for sports. Everything comes with the sponsorship and money. It won't be very easy to jump into a very big league straight away. So these are baby steps we need to take, and we are taking those baby steps in the neighboring countries and smaller countries around the world.
Right. Rakesh ji, what emerging markets do you see as having the greatest potential for Indian sports manufacturers, and how should companies prepare to enter some of these markets?
Good afternoon. I would see, like, if you see the Indian exports, so we have very well covered UK and Australia. But if we see US, there's still a very vast potential which lies untapped. And then countries in Latin America, where sports, of course, there's a lot of passion, and we are hardly present there. So, I mean, of course, Africa is there, but Africa, the business is not so straight at the moment. But I think Latin America, and I think for Indian companies, US is one of the major place where we have not done enough. So these are the two markets. Now, how to do it? A few years back, we were at the World Championships, table tennis at Shanghai, and I was sitting with the president of the Latin American Federation. And he said that Latin America needs a lot of sponsorship. There are many countries who are not sponsored at the moment. And what can you do about it? I said, how many countries are there who are not sponsored? He said 17. I said, we'll sponsor 17. He jumped. He said, what are you saying? You will sponsor 17 countries? I said, yes. The strategy has always been that we will sponsor those countries who need us, rather than those countries whom we need. So if we follow that strategy in many of these countries, I think the brands can be quite successful. And when the brands are successful, business will automatically follow.
Absolutely. Neeraj, we touched upon technology and how that's taking a more and more important place now, even in manufacturing. So how does Cosco integrate innovation in its manufacturing process, especially in terms of material technology and even sustainable practices?
We have been innovators throughout, and in terms of our product offering, we've always been or tried to be in the first one in, or if not the first, very one, the one who's almost there. So that's our philosophy, and ever since previous to I was even born, they were making products, and products from the sporting good fraternity was using. Example, our bladders were there, and they are internationally renowned, used by all the top brands in the world, and they are also being engaged and being spoken of. And other than that, as basketball manufacturers, we were the first one to be there, tennis balls, or looking at materials on that. So now we're working closely with some institutes and working with newer materials, with nanomaterials, things which are more sustainable. But frankly, it's a tough task to have a sustainable supplier base also, because they somehow don't even understand the concept. And so to make them to understand that and get time and time again the same thing and getting better with these concepts and improve and deliver as an end product to the consumer, I think it is a challenge, but we are working out our ways into it. And obviously, sustainability is one part, innovation is one part, and then we need to also look at what is required by the industry in terms of, just sir said about the standards we need to do, and give those standard or internationally renowned products to our consumers. So that also is something we closely integrate while we are designing, right from the designing stage. That's it.
Right, and I think circular economy is becoming a even more important area of focus even from the government perspective. We're seeing a lot of that come in multiple sectors, not just sports. So I think that will also hopefully give the sports manufacturing sustainability piece an impetus in the years ahead.
Yes.
Rajesh, sorry.
I just wanted to also add a small thing, that the sports industry, manufacturing at least, needs a good amount of parenting from the sports ministry, because normally when they talk of sports for our needs, we probably have to go and look at the commerce ministry for our all our grants, all our certification needs and everything what we want. But I think in the end of the day, they also keep on pushing us that you need to go to your ministry. So it becomes very tough for us to actually find out who is parenting the sports industry. So just a perspective, it's a $70 billion industry. It's no more by any menial needs a small industry. You've got things like broadcasting, say, rights. So it was like what, 2,000 crores or something, or some figure way beyond that, or the industries of
For cricket,
yeah,
it
for
was,
40,
it was 40,000 crores over
40,000
5 years.
crores.
Yeah, it's a
So,
massive figure.
so you're looking at something which is phenomenal, and it's not coming out of anything else. It's this industry which is providing it. So I think to parent it as a big body, it makes sense for having a bigger budget, bigger say, guiding the whole ecosystem into getting those medals which are required. So we need to rightly work at the grassroots with the industry, with all the the participants here, all the ecosystem only can come up that way. So I think first and foremost, we need to think that where our priorities lie, we need to see that how these things need to be nurtured. I mean, for us, for all our industry needs, we are fighting pillar to post, and every time to get some certifications, we need some funds so that in general people, get, it's not a, it's a tightly funded, family funded, mostly organizations which are doing it. So I think there is that we need that government's help. Rest we are very capable of doing. We've been doing it, and we amongst us, we sitting here have got all the top, whatever we make, we get the top approval. So in terms of our best practices, in terms of our product, I think they're not lacking anywhere in the world. So we approve a certain, what we qualify or a mark, we can do. What we need is some support for branding, make ourselves, these brands more visible in the markets, some certification things which are required, some help there offer. So that is one part we just missed out, and I think you can be be a very big enabler for all this process.
Absolutely. Shivji, we were discussing a little bit of sustainability yesterday when we were talking. Can you talk about what Shiv Naresh is doing in terms of sustainable manufacturing practices?
Yes, this is a very important topic. Actually, if we see, we have to be environmental friendly. We have to take care of the environment, because whenever we are making garments, a lot of water is wasted, and a lot of chemicals are being used. And then basically all the garments are polyester based or nylon based. It's basically it's a petroleum product. So when we are looking the international trend, the people are going for the recycled, like maybe from the plastic bottles, they are making garments for that. So we have to definitely go into that direction, so that we should leave a minimum carbon footprint. So for that, already industry is going in that directions, and we are also following the same pattern which the international companies in Europe or America, they are doing. We have to follow that, so that at least we should be capable, and our industry will get more business from the international brands also who are making for them. Because the fabric which is used, like polyester fabric is used, if it is used from the plastic bottle, it gives a lot of help. Even now the new kind of yarns have come, which which can be dissolved automatically. Like cotton, in 5 years it can be biodegraded. The same way the polyester yarn have also come. The special yarns has been made by the companies, and we are taking that advantage. We have to take the advantage, all the industry has to take the advantage, so that we should be at par with the international standards. And the big advantage with India is that our overall costing is much less. If you see the Europe, say they have to, for recycled, the cost goes to 135%, but whereas our cost goes to 60% only. So we are very much competitive in terms of if we are going to use the recycled material in sports. So with the government, actually whenever we go to the department, we say, sir, please put some initiative for those people who are really saving water and environment, but there is no policy. They say, no, it is not with us. So the same in line I am with Neeraj ji, that nobody is recognized the requirement. Actually, it is the very basic requirement. The message should go to because government is one of the biggest buyer for the sports garments. So at least the message should go that we have to use at least 10%, 20% of the recycled material. So it will save, in future, we have to be very much take care of the environment. So that's my point.
Absolutely. We are a little pressed for time, so I will ask one question and get all your views on this. What is the one thing that India needs to do strategy-wise or change in terms of how we go about our manufacturing today to get to being a top player in the global manufacturing market faster? Rakesh.
My view on this, I mean, I have been quite vocal on this for a number of years. See, the thing is that a Rajesh or a Shiv or Neeraj or me, what we can do is maybe we can take India to 5x. And today we are 0.5 or less than 0.5. So at the most we can take it to 2.5. But still we are not a global manufacturing hub. Now what needs to be done to get this global manufacturing hub in India? It needs investment. And why would one invest here? Why not in Vietnam? Why not in China? Why not in Thailand? Why not in Philippines or other places? We need to have something extra through the government, by the government, what they did for IT sector 30 years back and where IT went. We need some kind of incentives. I would not say no income tax, but we need some kind of incentives on income tax to get investment not only from India, but also from foreign investors, so that they know that their money will take them farther. Unless and until we are going to go that route, we cannot be a global hub for manufacturing. Thank you.
Shobhit, your views, please.
I think I'll agree with Mr. Kohli. Okay, we need to do it. The question is how. I think need is never a debate. And on Jain Saab's this thing, one aspect I would like to bring to the house. Our PM also says whole of government approach. So while you're saying that we don't know where to anchor, because I think government is the biggest corporate. तो उसको भी स्ट्रक्चर होने की ज़रूरत पड़ती है, इसलिए वो थोड़ा डिवाइडेड हो जाता है. तो देयर इज़ अ मिनिस्ट्री, देयर इज़ फॉर एक्स थिंग देयर इज़ अनदर मिनिस्ट्री. सो टू दी हाउस आई एम प्रॉमिसिंग वन थिंग कि अगर स्पोर्ट्स की बात है आप हमारे पास आइए. अगर वो हमारा काम नहीं भी है तो हम आपके साथ जरूर रहेंगे. वो कितना काम हो पाता है मैं वो नहीं कह सकता एट द वर्ड गो, but you would always find us recipient to your things, because as I said we need to enable things. Enable doesn't mean only on the street, it also means in-house, and that is what our PM also wants. So that is done. And jahan tak question is ke how to structure incentive. Of course this doesn't come, government has been doing. Of course it is at the call and also the promise of the industry that the country is limited resources. So what happens is, how do you prioritize things? For the industry, how they get into the priority, they need to work. So what happens is, you may feel sometimes that the part of the government, I don't say government, somebody you would have approached may not have responded you with the same eagerness that you would have gone to at that point of time, because possibly there are competing interests and the other interests might have been more promising at that point of time for that limited amount of whatever leverage there is in the system. So it is not that the hope is over. Of course, whatever is possible should be done. But as I said, it's not for the sports that I have been talking. I have been working with the industry in various domains, others also. And this is one thing that I have been speaking as an Indian, less as a government is, government enabler hai, theek hai, but now we are poised at a stage that the industry needs to gang up together. I'm using this word very deliberately, क्योंकि आज हम सब साथ जरूर हैं, we are on a common portal forum, everybody, but when somebody is in the market, everybody is a competitor. I have found, and I've worked with industry, bringing the industry to the same forum for a common cause, sometimes quite tough. I have a feeling that the industry needs to get together also, and I have seen good examples of that. So I would expound this industry, at least the house who is sitting out here, to come together. That's my point, because we are not competing with us, we are competing with the world. So when you give examples of Vietnam, there some provinces have done excellent work. I'm praising them because they have built up plug and play institutions. But then I've met the Vietnam industry also. Then I've met those people also because they have also risen to match. And as I said, it's not a monetary word, but give return on the investment in that public policy space. So that is my point.
Neeraj.
So I will keep it in this order that we need to have top quality products coming out from the country. That will take our level higher. I will just take example of Japan a couple of years back. Nobody knew it, but then suddenly they focused, and now the best cars come out from there. They are known for reliability, about their quality. So I think the first and foremost thing is about the product. For that, we need to internationalize our standards, follow them, get rigorous, and keep on giving the best to our players so that they can perform. And they have this feeling that, no, I don't want to, when I be a champion, I'm using a product made in India for my, and that will be the biggest branding for any of our brands to be there, that, okay, we have arrived, that our very champions are using our product. So, one, we need to have product ही नहीं तो कुछ भी नहीं है, वो सबसे पहले चाहिए. उसके बाद services and price and everything would follow for that. I mean, that is all standard what will come, but I think my keyword is only quality, quality and quality here. So.
Rajesh, your thoughts?
So to me, in all these platforms, when I look and listen to the discussions, one thing we miss is the definition, the real definition of sports equipment. Footwear is sports. Cycle by Hero is sports. Arvind Mills are making rackets today. Garware is making nets in Pune. Some packaging company in Gujarat is making sports mats. We have limited our definition. Page industry is making swimming costumes. So when we are talking about sports, we limit our definition to very, very small industry, which is based out of Jalandhar or Meerut. I think we have to change that perception. Number two, we need to look at cross-industry partnerships. Sports, as I have in the point number one, I said sports is not sports based out of Jalandhar and Meerut. Fabrics are made all over. If we are making sportswear, we have to look at the best fabric manufacturer in the country. If we are making sports balls, the material is quite similar to sports footwear upper. Footwear upper materials are made by the footwear manufacturers. We need to collaborate. Cross-industry collaboration needs to be there if we want to head anywhere. And if somebody, Jalaji, I would request you to please compile a data when we talk about sports industry. Please include footwear. Please include sports garments. Page industry is one good example. Arvind Mills is making rackets now. Why not invite all these people to this platform? They would inspire us. They would also cooperate with us. They would also collaborate with us. And that is going to be the real game changer. And again, I say it's not we alone sitting here on this podium who are going to bring in change. The change has to come from outside. Thank you.
I think we have to take one thing. If in future we are going to bid Olympic, the same way what China did, that all the international manufacturing companies was told very clearly, if you want to put your product in this Olympic game, then the product must be made within India. So that we have to keep in mind, so that at least we can get the technology for the sports goods, especially. So that once they come here, then we can export to world, because our skills, the labor is now more skilled because of the new policies with the Skill India. We are getting very good trained manpower nowadays. So if we get the chance, we must put this condition. Definitely, will request the government to put this condition mandatory for as China did. So this will help our industry. Thank you.
So just to add on that, what Shiv said is what China did during the Beijing Olympics. They not only said that they want to manufacture the goods in India, but they also said that also if the big brands have to come in, we will use your equipment, but it must be branded as a Chinese brand. I mean, you could see a lot of Taishan. I mean, the goods were coming all the way from Netherlands, but you had all the gymnastic equipment with the brand Taishan. I've been propagating, I've been very strongly propagating this, that we have to build brand India through Indian brands. The Prime Minister is also talking about that. And frankly speaking, today in sports, we have quite a lot of Indian brands who are doing really well, whether it is an SG or whether it is a Nivia or whether it is a Shiv, Naresh or Cosco or so many others. So really we need to support these brands. Like what does China do? If there is an international event, if it's a world championship, a double happiness has to pay a certain amount of money. But double happiness doesn't pay that money, it's the government which pays the money. If we get the same kind of support from our government, our brands will be seen all over. And India would be seen as a major hub of sporting goods. Thank you.
We'll open the floor for just one or two questions. Yeah. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग
में सर बहुत सारे रिसोर्सेज हैं, जैसे फैब्रिक्स हैं, उन्होंने शिव जी ने बोला कि ये जो फैब्रिक्स हैं रिसाइकल्ड फैब्रिक्स हैं, बट हमारे पास रिसोर्सेज नहीं, हमें पता ही नहीं कहाँ से मिलेंगे। तो क्या ऐसा कुछ हम कोलैबोरेट करके हमारा एक पोर्टल बन जाए, जैसे इंडिया मार्ट पे हम सर्च करते हैं बट वहाँ पे सब लोग नहीं होते, बट अगर स्पोर्ट्स इंडस्ट्री का ही एक बन जाए और उसको सारे इंटीग्रेट कर दें तो सबके लिए हेल्प होगी।
So I think that's a very good suggestion you're saying, and I think out of our sportscom, I think you can participate and take the message across home, and there are so many participants here. I think they'll be very, very helpful, and we can also start this part on our website, or as you said, for datas and everything, and you will get the help for sure.
जैम पोर्टल पे भी होता है, बट अगर हम स्पोर्ट्स का टोटली स्पोर्ट्स का रहेगा तो वो शायद इंडिया को हम अगर कोई वर्ल्ड ओवर भी कोई सर्च करना चाहेगा इस पोर्टल पे तो इंडिया की सारी कंपनीज एक प्लेटफॉर्म पे दिखेंगी, तो वो हेल्प ज़्यादा करेगा।
So there are different associations, manufacturers association and exporters associations. In sports, you can join one of them. Export Promotion Council is there. Sports Goods Manufacturer and Exporters Association is there. We collaborate and reach out to the buyers and sellers both. So I can talk to you about these and you can become part of that. And Sportcom exactly is doing the same thing. It's networking, it's bringing people together. And that's the reason you are here, that's the reason I am here. We are talking to each other.
First time I am coming to this.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think we're out of time. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It was a very insightful discussion. Thanks.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May I now invite Mr. Vivek Singh, Senior Vice President, Sportscom Industry Confederation, to kindly give away the mementos to our distinguished speakers as a token of appreciation. Requesting Mr. Singh to kindly, Dr. Shobhit Jain, Joint Secretary, Department of Sports, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. Dr. Shobhit, please. Mr. Neeraj Jain. Mr. Rajesh Kharabanda. Mr. Shiv Prakash Singh. Mr. Rakesh Kohli. Thank you so much, everybody. Requesting the participants to be seated, please. We'll be beginning our next special session on raising awareness about nutrition and drug-free supplements policy.